Well, welcome to the studios of Weekend Deal. It's always a pleasure to have you join us on the show. Yes, we're going to continue from where we left off yesterday, talking about waste management in Nigeria. Of course, waste definitely is a byproduct of human life, and whether it's in small quantity or in large quantity, we all produce waste. What we do with it is the most important thing. Like we started yesterday, waste management has continued to be a huge challenge for Nigeria. Definitely we produce this waste, but what we do with it is very, very critical to ensuring that we have a sustainable environment. So let's take this background report, and after that, other things will follow.
Solid waste management is the most pressing environmental challenge faced by urban and rural areas of Nigeria. Nigeria, with population exceeding 200 million, is one of the largest producers of solid waste in Africa.
The rate of urbanization in Nigeria is about 4.5%. And our attitude to waste management should correspond to this rate of urbanization, because urbanization comes with waste generation. So if somebody says waste production is growing as a geometric progression, while our response to it is arithmetic, that means we are behind.
According to World Bank, Nigeria has been ranked 19th highest country producing unmanaged plastics in the world, accounting for 2.7% of global mismanaged plastic wastes.
In the traditional landfill, it is important that those wastes are sorted, so that those that are biodegradable and those that are not biodegradable can be sorted out. Things like plastic, you don't just go and dump plastic on a landfill, because it will constitute a menace. But here, because we have a dump site, a lot of these things are dumped there, because generally it doesn't matter. And if you go to Abuja, like the place they call Gosa dump site, you see the heap, the mountainous heap of all this refuse that have been dumped there. And you have waste pickers, what we call the babambolas. There, they have homes there picking the plastics. So I think those guys are doing a lot of good work, because by picking those things, they are helping to manage that dump site, so that those ones that can decay will quickly biodegrade, and then the plastics that persist in the environment are removed and maybe transferred elsewhere where it is recycled.
Despite the huge challenges, there are opportunities in waste management, but this cannot be harnessed without strict sanctions or reckless waste disposal in Nigeria.
Some people it will generate electricity from waste and from organic waste, and even biogas. Even biogas is a gas from organic matter that is decomposed, and you see that you use it to generate electricity. So people use some of those things to do jewelries. Some people use it to produce buckets. Some people use it to do waste bins. Some people produce even the footwear. They produce all sorts of things. These are some of the novel industries that can come up if there is a commitment on the part of government.
There is need for government to revive its regulatory framework that will be attractive for private sectors to invest in waste collection, recycling, and reusing.
If you go to modern cities like maybe South Africa, go to Johannesburg, you see, I was privileged to be there. I went to Marian Hills. Marian is, other than, is a tourist attraction. you see how this waste, solid waste, are being managed, how the plastics are also being recycled and reused. So you see those facilities, people go there to look around. Now there are many. I've been in Sweden, and I visited plants where the solid waste are being landfills, where they are being properly disposed. But in Nigeria, we don't have it. We have dump sites, and people dump. And if you see all the waters, if you come to Abuja, the dump site in Gosa, there's a river by the side. That river is as good as dead.
Until these challenges are properly addressed by relevant authorities and individuals, managing waste disposal will remain a nightmare and recurring decimal in Nigeria.
Nigeria has a solid waste policy, which was recently revised, and they also have the plastic waste policy, which was recently produced. If you look at it, you see that there are provisions for such there. Another thing is to create appropriate awareness on how to move it forward and get people who are slacking to do the right thing.
Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on waste management in Nigeria, problems and prospects.
Background, of course, is put together by Francis Ogbe. Now we have some messages coming in already, and this one says government can empower the youth from this sector by providing immense jobs if there is strong political will and good policy implementation. This one is coming from MD Suleiman from Zaria, Kaduna State. The next one says, good morning. Good morning. I want to commend NTA for this enlightenment program, and I still want to appeal to Nigerians. I still want to appeal that Nigerians should be educated so that they can adequately manage the challenge of waste in Nigeria. This is coming from Kenneth from Ilorin. Keep your messages coming. Of course, we get to share them with the rest of the viewers. And now let's go to Oyo State and see the effort of the government in revamping the waste management sector in that state.
One of the challenges of urbanization is improper management of huge amount of waste generated in most urban areas. This has led to various environmental challenges that threaten sustainable development. Solid waste management has been part of human activities right from time. In Oyo State, managing waste disposal has become a major concern despite several attempts by successive governments and private organizations. It is a common sight across the state to see heaps of festering waste dumped in almost every nook and cranny of the state. Where do these wastes come from?
We can categorize waste into domestic and industrial waste. Domestic waste coming from various homes, whether solid or liquid. Well, industrial waste, we have a lot of production industry, a lot of whether agricultural, whether solid at the same time or liquid. But we can just categorize waste into domestic and industrial.
To manage waste in an effective way appears to be one of the greatest challenges facing humanity and the environment. The ongoing trend of industrialization and economic growth have resulted in increased municipal solid waste, especially in cities like Ibadan with high population. In February 2020, Governor Seyi Makinde launched the Clean and Green Initiative, which in its first phase saw the turnaround of the Awotan dump site into the Awotan landfill. What is the impact of the dump site on the environment?
By the time they start dumping things within a neighborhood, it makes the neighborhood untidy. It's at times it causes insecurity to the neighborhood. If there is no urgent attention paid to it by the government or the community, it goes beyond what they can handle in the future.
The government in Oyo State embarked on an emergency cleanup campaign exercise by mandating appointed waste collectors to employ a door-to-door household collection of waste within the state. What then happened to the waste collectors system?
We're in a transition phase where what we used to have is you have people show up and they claim that they can do the job, but they're really not able to do the job. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to sanitize the sector, get it properly organized, so that when you come up and say you want to do this job, we have you audited. And if you have, if you claim to have 4 trucks or compactors to do the job, you should truly have 4 compactors or 4 trucks to do the job.
Several warnings were given by the state government about poor attitude to waste disposal by citizens. However, people still prefer to dump their waste on the middle of the road.
The one I generate in my house, I have a dustbin that I pay for. We bought it from the state government and pay 3,000 naira monthly.
Government are really trying, but it is not enough unless we support them.
What we normally do is that when we gather the waste, then we take the waste outside and we burn the waste. But those things that are objects, we take them out of that place and we keep them for optimum use.
What are the issues with the government's programs to manage waste in Oyo State?
So a lot of people have this issue of not even knowing. That's part of it. Then some people really do know, but they're just nonchalant. They just want to use their waste. I mean, take the waste and take to wherever it's going to be evacuated for free. Removing the waste from people, from median, from waste generators. But we need to do a lot more on enforcement and sensitization.
It is, however, suggested that people should have an attitudinal change and support the state government by disposing their waste appropriately and desist from dumping waste in the drainages in order to have a clean and healthy environment.
Of course, a clean and healthy environment, it's all we want, because we want to live in harmony with our environment. And of course, we will continue to, create awareness program to ensuring that this happen or is obtainable in our society. Now, let's take you to Benin, where, of course, we will be seeing the efforts of private, participation in the waste management of the state.
For survival, humans engage in a lot of activities that result in waste. These wastes, which are generated both domestically and industrially, require proper disposal and management.
So for example, the plastic recycling in small scales, we have one of them in Edo Production Hub, the production center like you have on Saple Road.
In Edo State, a board has been tasked with ensuring a clean environment.
Right here in Edo State, we run the Integrated Waste Management Scheme, where we have a lot of PSP, private sector participants that are registered with government, and we provide them the technical support to carry on with the job of waste evacuation in the state. So they go from house to house to remove the refuse from the tenements, from the houses, and then take them to government-approved dump sites. And we regulate the entire value chain. Why these PSPs, they are private concerns who are accredited by us as the regulators. And they will manage the entire chain from end to end.
The method of waste disposal and management in Edo State is the PSP, private sector participation.
They carry every Saturday now. They carry.
Every Saturday.
Yes, sir.
They're not the fee.
No, they're not the fee.
When we are taking more people on board, they have to have the capacity. They have to have the functional trucks that will go from place to place to take away the refuse. And the city keeps developing, more towns are opening, more houses are being built even in developed areas. So it's really going to continue to increase. That's why we're going to say, yes, we can still take in more people.
Though the crew could not reach the PSP, how effective is this system compared to the waste collector system? A drive round town and the opinion of the residents will give the answers.
This is the thing when you see for front of my shop, so not be say we know they pay money every month. What did they carry am? If we pay, the people when they come they carry am, they can't carry am. We don't beg and tire. This is the thing, they cause sickness to everybody for here.
The thing when they in my market, I don't feel go complain for environmental. This dirty not be market own. Now those when they sweep roads, because they're not supposed to park the dirty here.
They record carry within three days, but what they missing for inside this Joshua so Aduawa. The way they go for Lucky Way is different than the one where they go Ramat. Now different people they call the park the dustbin. The one where they go Lucky Way, they call steady call the park the dustbin. Even today said they don't even call this morning sweep all the dustbin where they Joshua.
Who are those responsible for the indiscriminate dumping of refuse?
We are the one that generated it, but we used to pay to the Edo State Waste Management Board.
Before we come shade for here in the morning, we don't know where the dirty for they come. All the virus here, they said that they pack come they join market people. Oh.
In the morning, I'll come to junction and first ticket people. Before 5 to 6, I will go back to my house. But before I come around 6, I'll just see dirty, go down full here.
What challenges are there with the PSP arrangement?
We go through a lot of challenges. One of them is the non-payment in some situations. When the man has worked, he deserves his pay. We have a lot of cases where people have not paid. I know people would want to say that the waste manager has not, they don't come regularly in some cases. That's why we are here. There's this untoward habit that some people have cultivated now of bagging their refuse and dropping it in unauthorized locations. Most provocating is the one that they put on the median separator on a major road.
With digitization, can technology be employed in managing waste disposal?
We are looking to have various means of paying, like to have apps to be able to pay using USSD code, as well as other means of payment, so that they don't have to trouble themselves going to the bank each time they want to make payments. And we're also looking to introduce technology in a way so that we can monitor the waste managers on the field without necessarily having to go from place to place. That way you're able to determine where and when they worked.
It is recommended that there should be a change of methods of waste disposal and management techniques to curtail the menace of solid waste in Edo, owing to population increase, urban growth, development, and human attitude towards waste.
Well, you will agree with me that the private sector participation in waste management in Nigeria is very, very critical. And of course, you have that well expressed in that report. And we have some messages to share with you. Now, the issue of waste management is the issue of environmental waste is the duty of local government staff, but unfortunately the state government is taking over their job. This is coming from Philip Datukun from Jos. Waste management is capital intensive, but if it is well managed, the beauty, health, economy, etc. of the society will be enhanced. The government should be encouraged to do more in waste management. This is coming from Samuel Uchara from Makodi, Benue State. The next one says, good morning. Waste can be turned to wealth. What we all need is political will by our various governments to drive the policy. This is coming from Akinola Ololade from Ilorin, Kwara State. And trust me, some people are not really waiting or, playing around. They are, engaging in this waste to wealth activity, and exactly what you see in Sokoto from this next report.
Our unending activity leaves behind all sorts of scraps to move on with life. However, things we leave behind are not what they seem anymore, especially with our level of awareness and vigor in search for wealth. Some category of people spare no efforts to trap just anything, even the minutest leftover of metals, bones and plastics to make ends meet.
And by collecting them and recycling them, it plays a very important role to secure our environment. Remember, some of those materials are non-degradable. They cannot decompose. So, being non-degradable, they will be stationed in a place whereby they will affect the organisms living on that environment. But by picking them away, you have helped to secure that environment.
Like business cycle begins at negligible level, then gets along to hit the mark. What appears little effort eventually conveys tons of unceasing supply of scrap values establishing people and businesses.
Made a lot of money in that business. So the state government promotes the activities of these people. We organize them in group and we used to give them a training so that to promote their activity. And we used to advise them to also take proactive measures to protect themselves because these are waste materials, as I have said, that is composed of a lot of chemicals. So if you didn't handle them well, they can cause havoc.
Umar was sometimes ago at the lowest level in the hierarchy of people who are into the business. He narrates to the Weekend Deal team how uneasy and uncertain life gets with a scavenger.
Ya danganta ne matasa ka san mahiyawanci mu yanzu ga kudi muke so ba mu san wahala. Ita kuma rayuwa ko wace iri ta dole sai ka wahala sannan zaka samu. Saboda shugabannin namu ma da muke kallo muna bacin su muna zagin su muna waye su ma in sun ka karanta ma irin wahalar da sun ka share irin kalubale wanda sun kai a rayuwa. To kai sai haka kai ba ma zaka iya wannan rayuwa ba balle haka wannan matakin. Kaga saboda ka ita rayuwa dole sai ka wahala sannan zaka zama wani.
Business prospects, however, do not depend on how much but how well time and resources are invested and managed. So we sought for a perspective to the issues from a young man in the business who already seems to make a headway managing his own collecting center.
Sana'a ce wadda in zaka biya ma'aikacinka zaka jira in aka gyara kaya wani ya magana sa haka ba sai dole sun kai trailer ba saboda yanayin ma'aikaci naka kada ya shiga cikin kuka da kai na cewa ka hana shi wani abu yana bukata gare ka. Amma aka ce a ja irin wannan dogon lokacin ana so a fitar da trailer inda kayan aiki da wuta haka ana samun kaman wata biyu sai a fitar da trailer.
Yeah, you see, managing waste is very, very challenging. And the best way to manage it is to recycle it. So we are very much aware of that and we encourage any form of recycling. Right now, we are discussing with about 3 private companies. The state government is engaging them with a view to jointly, put in place a recycling company. You see, you have to look at the peculiarities of your environment, of your state, and you also look at the sustainability.
The people at all levels of dealing in scraps certainly have the stimulus to be in business, but for how long and how successful they become depends on how supportive government policies are in this direction.
Well, an interesting one there, and of course, the critics have often, said that effort, or rather extra effort, should be made in ensuring that people like Aliu are well integrated in the management of waste wherever they are found in the country. I still have some messages to go here. Okay, I need to unlock this. All right, this one says, I think waste management should be everybody's business. The consequences of indiscriminate dumping of waste in waterways and channels have serious environmental impact, blocking or shrinking, and of course flooding that lead to loss of lives and valuable materials. This is coming from Abdul Karim Mohammed. And if you just join us, we have been talking about waste management in Nigeria, challenges and prospects. And Susan Adamu during the week actually put together a report to do with food waste from food we consume, most especially in some of the bukas or eateries we have around within Abuja. So let's join Susan Adamu.
In 1921, the first fast food was established in the United States of America, while in Nigeria, reports has it that it was established in 1973. Abuja alone has more than 100 of them. A lot of people can quickly go out there and have something to eat round the clock. Little wonder, some people no longer bother to put kitchen or kitchenette in their homes. Well, that is not our problem. Our problem now is fast food produce a lot of waste, organic and inorganic waste. Have you ever taken a walk round eateries in Abuja or wherever you may be in Nigeria? Some of them have this strong offensive odor that exudes. This is a result of decomposing food items that should have been properly managed. Some of these waste could actually be recycled and turned to organic waste, which can be used for agricultural purposes. Away from that, some of these waste products comes from their packaging, ranging from disposable cups, disposable food containers, bags, and all of that. Well, I have deliberately taken a walk around within this environment, trying to perceive that food odor. Yet, I couldn't see any. I'm not going to take a walk inside if I can see any of the manager or the staff of this place to talk to us about what they are doing right to make sure the environment is clean.
First thing is the hygiene. Personal hygiene, restaurant hygiene. That is our first call. We don't joke with that here because the restaurant here is a standard at international restaurants. So it has to do with international delicacies and dishes that we make here. So hygiene is something we don't take for granted here. We have some situation where a guest will come around, eat, and they couldn't finish their food. Personally, we ask them for takeaway. We take them away. And for the ones that they couldn't finish, like the minor or little ones, we garbage them. We don't recycle food. Our waste are very low in record. We don't have much waste. And our waste are based on probably from fresh chickens, the bones, like the cucumbers, the carrots, those vegetables. That's where we get most of our waste products from. And those waste products, what we do for the fishes, for the bones, we give it to cats, dogs for people who need them, or we take them home for people to feed the animals. Then for the garbage, the animal like rabbits, they feed on those garbage and carrots. So we give those things to them as well. So we don't have much more that can be converted or that can be used in the farm. The prawn. Prawn comes in hard shell. You have to take the main prawn out of the hard shell. It can be sun dried after a period of time, like 2 or 3 days. And in some places, they grind it with maize or groundnut to feed the birds, even the dogs, for the veterinary doctors. They make an inquiry for this and we give them to mix up with other things and feed their birds. The garbage bin inside the baskets, then tied to the rim of the basket, then those foods are poured, those remnants or non-combustible food are poured inside. And for the one that can be recycled and given to the animals, we have a place where we drop them.
Well, I know that, most of restaurants, eateries, bookers, wherever they're found in the country, sometimes they generate a lot of waste, and sometimes it's actually not well managed. I'm sure the managers of these, places will do the needful to ensuring that we have a healthier environment. After all, it's where you consume food. Now, I know in Kano State, the state government is doing everything possible to ensuring that they manage wastes in a different way. So what a different way is that? Let's find out in this report together.
Look around you. There is waste everywhere you turn. In our drainages, waterways, and on every open space available. We are all surrounded by the waste from the product we consume. Waste management has been the most pressing environmental challenge faced by rural and urban areas in Nigeria. And Kano, being the second largest city in the country, has its fair share of this challenge.
We generate 6 to 8 metric tons of waste on daily basis. You can see the huge amount of waste that is being generated on daily basis. This is not unconnected with the huge population that Kano has been endowed with. And again, Kano is a commercial nerve center of the northern Nigeria, so a lot of commercial activities do take place.
This is France Road, one of the major commercial centers here in the city of Kano. This place is supposed to be clean because of the beehive of activities that take place here. But look at what we have here. Garbage covering almost everywhere, constraining movement of vehicles and people.
It's been very difficult. It's disturbing us very, very well, you understand? And we have tried our best. All of us, all the whole shops, we have been paying money to people that will chase them. But after we pay, when we go in the night, before we come in the morning, they have put another waste bin there.
The waste here is a serious problem to us. For more than 3 months now, we have been battling with the waste. We evacuated it more than 3 times. We use our trucks and money to evacuate it, but yet they keep dumping it.
Actually, it's really affecting us. You can see this is where I sell my zobo and kuno and buns. And you look at my seat here. People come here to buy my zobo and buy buns and sit down here to drink. So, but you see, because of this dustbin, when somebody is passing here, so you ask me, Madam, do you have zobo? I say yes. When they turn back and look at this place, they will go. It's really affecting my business.
Recently, there has been a lot of focus on the contribution of improper waste management to climate change. This has been, it was a topical issue at the COP26, the Conference of Parties of the United Nations Framework Convention. And when the waste decomposes, it releases methane gas. And methane gas is one of the greenhouse gases which depletes the ozone layer, thereby leading to climate change, especially in developed countries. Government does not manage waste. The waste management is usually outsourced or managed through public-private partnership. So we felt we needed to be in sync with the developed world. We signed a PPP agreement and they have commenced operation. I think they operated for almost a year. They started very well, but along the line there were some challenges that were encountered, which we felt we needed to go back to the drawing board to re-examine the agreement that we signed so that we can see how it can be made better.
Just as indiscriminate waste disposal hampers someone's business, another person's life depends on it.
We sort pure water sachets, metals and woods. Where do you take it to? We take them to market for sale, and the woods, we take it home to use as fuel.
In its effort to overcome the menace of waste and redefine its purpose, considering the volume of it being produced daily, Kano State Government has signed an agreement with a private waste management company, the Cape Gate. Part of this agreement is to run a recycle company that will generate electricity.
Part of the plan is to see that the waste that we generate on a daily basis in Kano is converted to organic and inorganic fertilizer, and also the waste is being planned to be converted to energy to generate biogas, specifically to generate electricity.
Good to know that the Kano State government, is making an effort to collaborate with private sector to utilize their waste product for energy generation. I know there are a couple of countries, that are doing this already. You talk about Canada, Czech Republic, Denmark, Norway, Finland, a lot of them, making use of their waste product for energy generation. Hopefully we can follow in that direction. And right now, let me quickly introduce our guests. She is the president of Dynamic Paragon Ladies Foundation in the person of Fatima Momo.
Good morning.
You are
sir.
welcome to our studios.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
All right. So, Dynamic Paragon Ladies Foundation. Talk to me about that and why you're focusing on Waste to Wealth initiative this time around.
Okay, Dynamic Paragon Ladies Foundation is it was a dream come true for 8 ladies that believe that, when you talk about women association, people believe that we are just here to gossip, party, and everything. So when we started this Dynamic Paragon Ladies, we're trying to see what can make making a difference in society. So we brainstorm, we have other members that come to join us, that's how to impact into the society, how to give out the little we have to educate another woman in society. Because if you look at the society, find out we women we contribute so much to the economics, but we take little from the economy. And we believe that when you educate a woman, you educate the family and the world generally, and it make a world a better place. So Dynamic Paragon Ladies come into existence to educate and empower women through different skills and initiatives. And for the past, we are up to 3 years now. General will be celebrating 3 years, and we have tried our best to go to community to educate women in different skills.
And your education this time around focuses on
waste management. Yes, and
did
this
you
year,
see the challenge? Like, what led you to this, really?
What led us to, if you find out that everybody that is in the world that is clamoring on global warming, flood, and health hazards, and you find out the major reason that causes it is from what? Environment. And the Nigerian government are trying, but not enough. And I believe that every woman needs to contribute. So by December, when we normally brainstorm on the program of the year, we find out that is the major thing that that is one of the important things that affects society was what? The environmental. So we have to come into wealth, and that is waste management. I will now discover that waste management is very dynamic and many women can benefit from it. And if you are going to train a woman, we say let's educate women on how to make our environment clean. And during the research we discovered that there is wealth in waste. And we believe that for you to encourage every human being, he believes he wants to get something from what he's going to do. So we now discover, why can we turn what is in the society, the waste in society, into wealth for every woman and girl child. So that is the birth of the initiative of Waste to Wealth initiative of Dynamic Paragon.
Okay, now what particular aspect of waste, knowing fully that it's quite a dynamic sector, or what particular area have you focused on? Is it bottle, can, or
so we are dynamic.
Yeah.
So and we go into the totality. We are not talking. We talk about mostly, the major thing that really caused blockage in the drillage and everything is bottles and plastics, and we are focusing on bottles, plastic, papers, and anything like tires. Those things that in society that doesn't waste, that doesn't degrade easily, that can stay years and which block our drillage and that system and cause erosion and everything, and that is what we are focusing on. And we just had a program where we trained Gariki women and girl child on how to turn waste to wealth, and you find out that was the first program I see that after a program there was no single nylon or bottle on the hall in the hall. Before we finished, they were packing it because they now realized that what is wealth. And it was a very great thing, and it was a joy to me that if we just thought something within 2 hours and it's being implemented. So when we have a larger platform that every woman in the society knows that when you throw away a sachet water, it means money to you, and it can be used to produce so many things, you find that there won't be any waste in the society anymore. So government does not really need to spend too much money because we have able to source other companies who can make use of this waste.
Okay, because sourcing for the waste is one thing. Getting market for these women is another thing. So you have reached out to certain companies, recycling companies, that will demand some of this waste picked up by these women.
They are already there. We met with Shadam. They are one of the companies, like in FCT, they have a dumping site already that you can take your waste there and it will be weighed and give you your money. And we also met with a renowned lady, Istifa, that converts plastic to interlocks. And we also meet with there's this company that will still work with us. It's a partner with us that train women how to use waste to create wealth. There was a bottle that was beautified. It became what? A vase, a flower vase. Then the plastic rubber was converted to purse and pencil and makeup brush pack. So instead of importing something from the China or from all over the country, we have so many plastic on the floor beside us that can be converted.
Trust me.
So there is already market for them.
I see a lot of that when I visited one of my senior colleagues. She's so creative with the waste around her wherever she finds. Imagine she turned what is it called, the spoon, disposable spoon you find in for events and all of that. She put them together and she creates something very beautiful. It's quite fascinating. So I can relate to all you are saying. But let's quickly take this next report put together by Kachi Ogba, and focuses on the waste management as it affects the fashion industry.
Over the last 20 years, waste from the global fashion industry has doubled, placing fashion and its supply chain as the planet's third largest source of environmental waste and pollution. Textile production is responsible for about 20% of global clean water pollution from textile factories dumping dyes and untreated waste directly into waterways. Laundering synthetic clothes accounts for 35% of primary microplastics released into the ocean every year. A single laundry load of polyester clothes can discharge 700,000 microplastic fibers into the ocean. Not only does clothing production pollute the waterways, it also wastes a tremendous amount of water to produce and dye textiles, as well as irrigation needed to grow cotton and other fibers. It is estimated that the global textile and clothing industry uses over 79 billion cubic meters of water per year, making this industry the second largest water consumer in the world. To make a single cotton t-shirt, 2,700 liters of fresh water are required, enough to meet one person's drinking needs for 2.5 years. Greenhouse gas emissions are a major environmental byproduct of the clothing production process. It is estimated that the fashion industry is responsible for 10% of global carbon emissions, more than international flights and maritime shipping combined. Textile waste is another big issue for the clothing industry. A lot of material is disposed of through garment production, shipping, and wearing. In fact, 98% of the total textile input used for clothing is ultimately incinerated or sent to landfills. The megacity of Lagos generates about 11,000 tons of waste daily. About 12% of this number is made up of textile materials. So how is Nigeria's fashion industry taking steps to solve its waste management problem? Sustainability has become a major focus of fashion brands in the past decade. In recent years, Africa's leading fashion event, Lagos Fashion Week, has developed a number of initiatives to encourage designers to create social, economic, and environmentally sustainable fashion brands. A growing number of independent designers are also offering innovative solutions while mixing sustainability with fashion and home decor, adopting the principles of reuse, repair, and recycle to address the adverse effects of garments on the environment. Designers are not just upcycling textile waste, brands are also converting waste from other industries into eco-friendly products. They make use of discarded plastic like nylon bags, plastic bottles, and water sachets to create a host of fashionable products like mats, raincoats, school bags, and so on. Even tires are being rescued from landfills and upcycled into modern furniture and art pieces. These programs are not only tackling waste management, but also providing economic empowerment in those communities. This growing sustainable eco-fashion system is playing a significant role in steering the future of the fashion industry in Nigeria to align with the growing global shift towards conscious consumerism.
All right, creating a sustainable fashion industry will be beneficial to all, certainly. And we still have our guest here with us in the studio. But before we wrap up this session, we have some messages coming through. This one says waste recycling can employ millions of Nigerians. The federal, state, and local governments have to get more involved in the business directly to create employment and sanitation. This one is coming from Dogo Isaiah and Dogo from Enugu. The next one says waste disposal is good, but it should be disposed properly. This one is coming from Precious in Abuja. All right, Victor Peter, I must say thank you for your kind words and prayers for NTA. Well, this is Weekend Deal, and that is what you expect. People, wishing us well all the time because of the job we do here, enlightening Nigerians on the issues that affect us all. Now, before we wrap up this session, talk to me. You say you told the women, or you educate the women about what they can make from the waste, turning the waste to wealth. But aside the economic benefit, do you engage them differently on the need, to dispose the waste properly, on the effects it has on the environment, talking about our health and all of that?
Yes, like that one is one of the cardinal issue that we are addressing. Because before we talk about empowering on skills, we talk about the effect it has on our health. Because health is wealth, and if your environment is dirty, you can never be a healthy human being. So we educate women on how to make sure that every waste you have is being disposed properly. And we are also begging Nigerian government that, like, if you go to abroad, you find out that in every dumping site you have the bottle bin, you have the plastic bin and the other waste. That we are educating women that you don't need to put bottles and other watery waste in a particular place. Dispose them, segregate them. Yeah. It's easier to dispose and it's easier to manage. And the ones that you know that can maybe waste easily, can be disposed. They decompose easily. They can be put in a very well contained can with a plastic. Then you put it, then you tie it. In that way, will not emit anything bacteria to the house. And remember that if waste is not well disposed, it can harm the family, and you can cause so many infections and diseases. And imagine that a child is you have about 5 kids, and one of them contracted cholera from waste, and your family will be affected. So also that, so we educate women on how to manage waste in their home and take care of the family.
Thank you very much, Fatima Momo, for speaking to us, and we wish you the very best.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay, a quick break beckons. Well, that is much we can take on the show today. Yes, the issue of waste management has been a huge challenge for Nigeria, and by now we should know that it is a collective responsibility. The government, the private sector, individuals, we all have a stake in ensuring that we have a sustainable environment. Bye for now.